Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Queers of Time podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm James.
I'm Camille.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast to talk about all the gay stuff in the Wheel of Time.
Because we're gay and we like the Wheel of Time. And as always, thank you to Lurks, our favorite venerator of Serene.
So, as you all know, before the late 1990s, cheerleaders and football players could not be gay. It was just, there were no such thing as queer people in sports or traditionally feminine or traditionally masculine roles. It was all a lie. But then a movie came along that changed all that, and it allowed cheerleaders, at least, to be gay. And that movie is what we're going to be talking about today. It is one of my favorite movies, and I think it's one of my co-hosts' favorite movies, part of our movie review series. And the movie is But I'm a Cheerleader.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a cheerleader.
But I'm a cheerleader.
I can't be a lesbian.
The doors that this movie opened.
It's listen, we don't have that many queer movies. I mean, nowadays there's a lot more, but like when I don't know, it's among the first few queer movies that I got to see, that I got to watch maybe 10 years ago when I was finally being able to start watching queer movies. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how many times I've watched this one, and it's still a delight every time I rewatch it.
Yeah, I know. It's weird for me. It's kind of the opposite for me. I'm still kind of playing catch up on all my foundational queer movies. And so I didn't watch this one until 2020. It was during the pandemic for sure. Oh. It was 2020. Yeah, it was super not that long ago. I'd always kind of heard about it in passing, but I'd never watched it. But yeah, I watched it fairly recently, and since then I watch it every few months maybe, because it's comforting and it's delightful.
20 years old me had a phase where I don't know, I watched a bunch of oldie queer movie. I did Imagine Me and You, Debs, But I'm a Cheerleader, a few others that I can't remember right now because I'm not good at names, but yeah, I don't know. There was a few months where I did, I don't know, 10 of those in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's finally got access to internet and...
Totally.
I grew up, like a lot of kids, watching stuff like Queer as Folk and movies like that on the Logo channel in my bedroom with the door locked and headphones in so nobody could hear what I was watching. But I first saw But I'm a Cheerleader in the spring of 2008. My college, I was a freshman in college, and I was in the LGBT student organization. That was still my I'm a straight ally phase.
Oh no!
I love it.
There's a picture of me at a protest in a town in Louisiana that holding a sign saying straight but not narrow.
Please tell me you still know where that picture is.
Outstanding.
It's a bad picture of me, so we're just going to say it's lost to the wheel. We're just going to pretend it doesn't exist.
Straight but not narrow. That's a good sign, Sue.
That's a very good sign. That's amazing.
I'm going to reveal some of the ignorance of my 19-year-old self. I was like, but I don't want to watch a movie about gay girls. I want to watch a movie with my representation. And I totally forgot about the gay boys in the movie and just focused on the main character because she's just so fantastic. The movie's just fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just brilliant. So
in case someone out there has never watched But I'm a Cheerleader, quickly the plot is you get Megan Bloomfield, a 17 years old high school student and cheerleader who's dating Jared, a football player. Doesn't seem to particularly enjoy it. But despite being a cheerleader and dating that football player, everyone around her seems to think that she's a lesbian. So they are planning an intervention. It is time for her to be sent to the True Directions, a conversion therapy camp that is supposed to normalize us damn inverts. they keep calling queer people inverts.
Inverts,
and,
yeah.
I I don't know whether it was actually a slur used for queer people in English or if it's just a thing in that movie, but it's an interesting way of saying that queer is not the norms.
It's an outdated terminology, which is the point. Like it is people did really call queer people inverts, but like the fact that the time that this movie is taking place in, that wouldn't be really a term that they would use, but it's to like, of course, it's to enhance the campness of it all, because it's silly.
I mean, it's camp. It's very much a satire.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's honestly the best way to deal with that topic, because it's not it's a traumatic topic for still a lot of queer people. Like we're talking about conversion therapy, and I mean, I was looking into it because conversion therapy in still many places is not banned.
Right.
In the UK, it's still not banned at all. In France and Canada, it has only been banned since the beginning of 2022.
Which is crazy. That's insane.
It's so recently. It's 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And in the US, like, there's only 22 states that have an official ban on conversion therapy for minors.
Yeah. I love how when it comes to like, well, it's to protect the kids that we're banning affirming care for trans kids, like gender affirming care. That's protecting the kids. But when it's coming to like conversion therapy, it's crickets from those motherfuckers. Yeah. Actually, I wrote a novel called Conversion about conversion therapy that I'm still trying to occasionally get published. But it is not funny. It's not camp. The campers get superpowers and end up causing their camp oppressors to self-immolate in a lake of fire.
I mean, that sounds fair to me.
So different take.
Yeah.
It's different take, but it's more like it's an angry revenge vibe take on conversion therapy.
Yeah.
Here, it's a lot about also making fun of the concept of it, because it is profoundly stupid.
Oh, yes.
Think like it's... Yeah. I don't know. I keep thinking about... I think it's RuPaul who says, I was once a gay too.
I was once a gay.
I was once a gay too.
So a couple things. Before I forget, RuPaul is so funny in this. I get RuPaul is very is controversial and problematic, but RuPaul is so fucking funny in this, and I forget every time how funny RuPaul is in this. Like,
I forget all of the problems that I have with RuPaul as a person and as a personality when I watch this movie. Like, this is my enjoy RuPaul space.
Yes, it's a safe space.
It's a safe space to enjoy RuPaul and forget about everything else.
Yeah.
Can I say my very wild thing about RuPaul?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm curious about this because I saw you put this in the doc, and I'm curious now.
I reached the end of the movie and the credits started. And I look at the credit, and then it was written RuPaul, and I was like, so that's who RuPaul is.
What a way to find out who RuPaul is. That's amazing.
Listen, I think I was rewatching Nimona a week ago because it got free for a week on YouTube. And I think RuPaul is doing the voice of one of the journalists there.
Really? That's crazy. It wouldn't. Yeah, that's wow.
And I think I got pretty much the same reaction. Like, oh, that was RuPaul. Okay. Oh no, maybe RuPaul is doing. He has a voice in that one.
That's so funny. The thing is, like, and this is what makes it like. Sorry, we're going a little bit off topic here, but like, this is what makes people like RuPaul so frustrating, because they are trailblazing in a lot of different ways. Like they have made a lot of important contributions to queer media and queer spaces. It doesn't excuse the problematic parts of them, but like you can't excuse that they are foundational in a lot of queer media, which is why you see RuPaul pop up in as like a voice actor for Nimona, which is crazy. Like, but it doesn't surprise me at all.
It's like Ellen DeGeneres. I never know how to say that last name. Who is very problematic. And it's very disappointing because you're like,
Mm-hmm.
she was one of the most famous queer people out there for a long time.
Oh, yeah. And like, arguably, she was the most famous queer woman out there at one time. Like, when she came out, that was like literally groundbreaking. Like, there's no other way to describe it. But yeah, RuPaul is kind of in that same category, but like, let's enjoy the safe space of But I'm a Cheerleader and enjoy RuPaul in this movie because he's perfect.
He is perfect in the movie. And to go back to like the movie and the plot, like as somebody who would also, who's batting for the other team, I don't blame her for not wanting to make out with that guy.
I mean,
I don't understand why. Like, he is like the least appealing, like, no, sir, that ain't it.
So I laughed so much when the family and friends planned the intervention and were listing all of the reasons why they think Meghan is gay. Yeah. And the boyfriend being like, yeah, you don't even like kissing me.
I wouldn't.
Yes.
At the same time, have you seen how he kisses?
Right?
Stop shoving your tongue like that.
It's disgusting.
My God. Who likes that? You know what? I'm sure there are people who like that, but my God, get a hold of yourself, sir. Please. It's just, yeah. And I will, no matter how many times it's used, anytime Melissa Etheridge is used as proof to why a woman is gay, is queer, it makes me so happy because it's stereotypical, but it's also, I mean, it's essentially foolproof at this point. Let's be honest.
I mean, I'm not particularly familiar with her music, but it's like High School Me, Tegan and Sarah.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Look at that. I was super into Queen Latifah.
Madonna.
There you go.
And Lady Gaga.
There you go.
See, if you had been French, you would have added Mylène Farmer on that list, and that would be perfect, but only the French people listening to that podcast will understand.
That was for you, French listeners.
And by the way, okay, I need to mention that, but the song, the introduction song, was originally a French song that got done over decades later by an English person. But it's like, it's a French gal song who is like a very famous French singer from the mid 20th century. And nobody, like, it's like everyone knows that name in France. Nobody outside of France would know. But like that music started and I was like, that is not the original song.
There you go.
Sorry.
I didn't know that.
So, for once I have references that are very obvious for people who grew up like me.
There you go.
And not for you.
Look at you. I know. I love this for you. This should happen more often.
Anyway. Yeah, talking about the list they make about her being gay. The way I just laughed at the vagina pillows.
Oh my God. It's just, there are so many, it's the little touches like that in this movie that are just like, they're like in the movie, in the context of the movie, they're meant to be like subtle, but also obvious at the same time. Like, it's just,
there's nothing subtle about this movie.
No.
Like, we start with a cheerleading thing where it's just basically close shot of cheerleaders' boobs and butts and thighs.
Yeah, which like,
and that's it.
Yep, it's
very sapphic.
Yeah,
but I'm a cheerleader.
But I'm a cheerleader. But this, it's that like the movie. It feels like the movie is both not taking itself seriously at all, but also taking itself very, like, the characters in the movie are taking it very seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just so well done. I love it.
It brings to mind, I don't know who said this, it may have been Stephen King, or it might just be an amalgamation of different writers I've heard, but you always take the work seriously, but never take yourself seriously.
Exactly.
And I feel that's exactly what the movie did. They took the work itself like dead serious, but they never took themselves serious, which leads to movies like that.
Yeah, exactly. Because I just to be a little bit real for a second, a big part of the reason why I didn't come out sooner than I did, I was genuinely concerned that I would be either sent to conversion therapy or some kind of conversion something. That was a genuine concern for me. And I was like I would have been in my late teens, early 20s. This was still a concern for me. Like it was always kind of in the back of my head when I moved out and I had like a little bit of financial stability and everything, significantly less of a concern. But even still, it was still like this sort of like cloud hanging in the back of my head that like, I would have an intervention like this and obviously not as silly, not as campy as this, but like the fear was real. And so it's impressive that they're able to take something so serious and so like traumatic and make it funny. Like I was, we're watching the intervention. Obviously this is like, it's a serious thing, but it's extremely funny to watch. Like in the movie, it's really, really funny.
I mean, the guy shows up with straight is great t-shirt, and I'm just...
RuPaul.
Yeah.
You just can't take him seriously.
No, that's the thing. Like,
but that's the point.
It's the point, yeah.
That's the point. Yeah. It's great.
It's like everyone in this movie is a parody. And none of them feels offensive because all of it serves a purpose, which is talking about something very serious in a non-dramatic way, in a way that we can laugh about it and still understand that it's like the gravity of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God.
And like, I'm not big on like costumes and fashion and stuff. I just don't, I know that that's like the thing that lesbians are supposed to be known for is like, not knowing the fashion. And I'm supposed to be the one who's like, oh, yes, girl, do the fashion thing. But I don't know shit about none of that.
Work, honey.
Yeah, exactly. Work it, honey, yes. But the fashion or the style and the vibes and the aesthetics of the movie is just like pure camp. Like,
oh yeah,
the outfits the kids have to wear, the camp director's pantsuits or her whatever's she's wearing, the rooms, like the monochromatic rooms. It's just like
the continual use of pink and blue to very much differentiate between the like girl, boy. Like it's just
girl.
It's so perfect.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, if we have to talk about the camp, we have to talk about the 5-step program.
Okay.
Because the 5 steps basically says they tell us everything we need to know about that conversion therapy camp. Because step 1 is admitting you're an homosexual, which, okay, in order to fix the problem, you have to admit that there's something. I'm putting it in quote, but people cannot see the quote, but there's definitely quotes in how I'm talking there. Step 2 is rediscovering your gender identity, which is why so much blue, so much pink. They basically teach the girls in the group how to clean, how to change a baby. They teach the boys how to play football, how to cut some wood, how to change, how to repair a car. And I mean, they don't even teach real skill. It's mostly like how you're supposed to behave.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's hilarious because, for example, when you see the boys, the director of the camp, the reason why she created that camp, it's because her son is definitely gay.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. There's no doubt.
And it's so funny because, like, every time there's a lesson with the guys, like, there's always going to be RuPaul's character who is just, like, it's not the director, but it's like one of the personnel working at the camp.
Right.
Always looking at that son.
Yeah. What's his name again? It's Rock.
Yes, Rock, which I guess I'm betting it's a reference to Rock Hudson.
I would imagine so, yeah. Because like visually as well, he's usually wearing like really short jean shorts and like, like a tight skin tight shirt. Like it's all very, 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 very intentional and very, very obvious. and
the actor is straight, and it's pretty obvious that he's straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is just like I mean, I'm sure they didn't intentionally cast actors based on their sexual orientation, because a lot of, like, I looked up, like, a lot of the actors who play the gay kids or the queer kids are heterosexual, and a lot aren't, actually. I looked up most of the actors, and several of them are queer IRL, which for some of them was pretty evident.
Yeah. Yes. You can say that.
But it's just, I don't know. We're sort of like all over the place with this, but like the one thing that I commented on in the Discord that I feel like I should comment on is that with the sapphics, like at the end of the movie, spoilers, end of the movie with the sapphics, it was a grand romantic gesture with a literal moving van truck. Yeah. And with the gay, all he had to do was just show up and they were having sex on the tree for like just 2 seconds. It was like...
It's a Grindr versus, I don't know, whatever app.
Whatever app.
Lesbians use.
Grindr versus, I don't know.
Lex. Grindr versus Lex.
Lex.
Yeah, there we go.
It's funny because I'm actually looking at Clea Duval wiki pages, and she was apparently very closeted while making But I'm a Cheerleader.
Yeah.
Who was?
Yes. Clea Duval.
Oh.
Yeah, who plays Graham.
Yes. Oh, I love her.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I mean, I understand having a cast, like, I mean, back then, if you were to play gay, you were kind of sure that you were going to get typecasted.
Yeah.
Later
For
on.
sure. Yeah.
Which is, I mean, Natasha Lyonne has played multiple queer...
I was just going to say, but she's...
Queer roles.
She's very okay with it.
Clea Duval too.
They're both okay with... Now.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
I mean, not everyone was.
No.
I'm guessing people who were taking those roles knew that that was a risk and were fine with that.
Yeah. It's really sweet to hear Natasha Lyonne and Clea Duvall talk about their time filming the movie and, you know, their experience and just what it means to them, and also knowing what it means to other queer people, and just it's super delightful. Natasha Lyonne is like legitimately one of my favorite people and actresses, and it confounds me every single time I remember that she is in fact straight.
Yeah.
So there you go.
She's also beautiful.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
No hetero, but she's gorgeous.
She's gorgeous. And Clea Duvall too. Like their vibes are like very different vibes, but like equally.
Who is... Okay, I'm looking up because they are apparently good friends with another one of the actresses.
Melanie Lindsay, who plays Hillary.
Yes.
They also have another movie, the three of them, together, right?
They've done a couple things together since there's the show that Natasha Lyonne was on, Poker Face, I believe. Clea Duvall guest starred in it at one point. This was like fairly recently, but I think you're right. There was something else.
Yeah, there was The Intervention, 2016 movie that got back Clea Duvall, Melanie Lindsay, and Natasha Lyonne.
There you go. Yeah.
And I did not know that she was using her real accent. Like, she's actually from New Zealand. Because when I first saw her, she starred in a Stephen King, of course. It's always Stephen King.
You're talking about who right now? You're talking about...
Melanie Linsky.
Melanie Linsky, okay.
She starred in a miniseries by Stephen King called Rose Red, which is a somewhat campy haunted mansion story. And I thought she was from the U.S. based on her accent, so she's really good.
Oh yeah, she has a great U.S. accent. I found out quite recently. I think probably like during like she was doing press for Yellow Jackets, and I heard her talk and was like, "What?
Yeah,
what?"
It's always wild when you're used to hearing an actor speaking with a certain accent, and then you hear them talking in an interview. It's completely different, and you're like, "Since when?
Huh? What
happened?"
Apparently, this is just getting more and more off topic. But hey, we're queer. We're not meant to be ordered. And
you know what? That's fine. I'm having a great time, and that's what's important.
Apparently, British actors have a lot easier time adapting Southern accents because there are some linguistic similarities between the South and the UK.
That makes sense.
Which is why, like, Daniel Craig works so well as Benoit Blanc. It makes so much sense.
So good.
I mean, I kind of guess it must depend where in the UK you're from.
True.
Because the UK, there's quite a wild
There is.
diversity of accents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is true.
But also maybe most people coming from area with strong accent got taught very early to learn other accents because for a while in London, if you wanted to make it out, you had to kind of get a more neutral accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking like more London and South UK, like or definitely not like Liverpool.
Oh my God.
I still cannot tell accent apart. Like I know there's an accent, but I cannot say where it's from.
Yeah.
So
Where it's from.
especially in the UK.
I listened to a gay rom-com audiobook narrated, and it takes place in Sheffield,
Oh, boy.
and the narrator used the accents from Sheffield. So like now I know if I hear someone in the UK talk, I'm like, oh, that's from the Sheffield, Liverpool, like general area. Yay.
There you go.
I know things.
Okay, back to the movie. We were talking about the steps. We dived into the step 2. Step 3 was finding the root of your homosexuality. Can we say about how wild those roots were?
I love how they just
It's just
they turned them back on their parents.
they did.
They did. They did. Like, my mother got married in pants. I was born in France. That one I had to pause the movie because I had completely forgotten about that. But I'm like, I was born in France.
I was born in France. Oh my God.
And the director just accepts it like, yep, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Thank you for your brave contribution.
Yeah. Also, that's when I actually looked up. So the guy who was playing Dolph, the varsity guy, his face was not that familiar, but his voice kept reminding me of someone.
Yeah.
And is the voice actor who played Zuko in Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I was so confused because I was like, I knew him from something. And I think it was just Avatar.
Yeah. Dante Vasco. Yeah, he's fantastic. He's great.
That storyline with him and the twink and the jock was just hilarious.
Oh my God.
When she finds them just rooting around.
Yeah.
It's, you know what? It made me sad that Megan kind of snitched on them, but the girl was shocked, okay? And she doesn't know to lie. She's such an open book.
Naive.
Yeah, she's very naive.
Very much.
And I like how we see her evolve in a way.
She has a great arc. Like she has a really good and consistent arc. Like it makes sense. Like one of my favorite lines. Sorry, I want to make sure I get it right because that's how much I like it. It's really easy to be a prude when you're not attracted. Which is like another character says that to her. Like, and it's like it's so on brand. Like it very much resonated with me because I was like, yeah, I remember thinking that. No, I don't want to sleep with boys. That doesn't sound great. I don't want to do that. God says no. But women, girls, that's okay.
God say yes.
Girls pretty. Why bad?
Why bad if girl pretty?
Yes.
One quote that I really loved was when she finally get away from the camp and end up at that house by those two, from those two gay men. And she's asking, okay, what do I do now? And one of them say, you just have to continue to be who you are, while basically giving a mug where it's just like it's the queerest mug ever. It's just queer written in big as a mug. So just has to be who you are. Here's a queer mug. That's who you are.
There you
and
go.
the other one's like, well, we're not feeding you for free. Get a job. It's like, yep, that's the mean gay.
There must be one of each to balance each other out. Oh my God. Sorry, we keep interrupting the list. We need to get back to the list.
Yeah, because we talk a little bit about those roots, and
that's true.
The step 4 was demystifying the opposite sex. So I guess they're trying to make connection between the boys and the girls which is hilarious. Like it's something they're trying to cure the gay And there's a whole part of it where just the girls are going to spend time together and the boys are going to spend time together. Let's build connection between the girls that definitely they should not be attracted to the girl, but they are. And that's what we're trying to get rid of. So they're going to spend more time together.
And that's how ridiculous the concept of conversion therapy is. That's how ridiculous. And that doesn't mean that it's not horrible and devastating. But it's at its core, it's so fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. It doesn't make sense. It's nonsensical.
It's about a weird idea of what gender is supposed to be and how people are supposed to match their role in society with respect to gender. And it's like, oh no, there's an order for women and there's an order for men, and both of them have to respect the rules that are not really rules, are just rules we have imposed on ourselves, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking dumb.
It's like the girl who was put in camp because they thought she was a lesbian just because she was really butch.
Yeah.
And she said that she's not. Like, she's legit not.
She made me laugh because she's like, I can't help it. I still like men.
I still like men. I know.
And it's such...
It's like, I don't want to, but I do. God help me.
But I do.
Like, girl same.
I know I look like that, but I still like guys.
I like guys. Oh my God. I love it.
I think she even said, like, I still want a winner of my... And
something like that. It was a whatever she's... I can't remember the exact quote, but it's... The way she said it was wild. And like...
It was great.
Oh my God.
It was just a good all-around movie. It's probably like my favorite conversion therapy movie because it's so campy and ridiculous.
It's your favorite conversion therapy movie?
Well, I mean, there's like, okay, so there's Boy Erase, which is just a memoir, and it's like it's dark. It's not the darkest one that there is, but and then there's the South Park conversion therapy episode, which does it similarly exposes how ridiculous conversion therapy is, but in a much darker way.
There's a South Park conversion therapy episode?
Yes, Butters thinks that being gay means like being happy, so he tells everyone that he's gay, and his super religious parents send him to conversion therapy.
Oh, I see.
Every time they try to give him a roommate, the roommate kills himself.
Oh no!
It's like it is incredibly dark, and like the overall messaging is that conversion therapy and bigots are stupid, and if you believe in this stuff, you are probably an evil person. Like, that's the message of the episode.
I see.
But they use like really, really heavy dark humor to like convey it. And while I like that, and while I appreciate what it did, I like But I'm a Cheerleader better because it's not it's not dark to watch.
It still accomplishes what it needs to.
Yeah, we don't want to cry at the end of it.
Well, happy tears maybe, because that might be because I'm an emotional person, and so I do cry at the very happy.
I don't do happy tears, but that's fine. You do you.
He's like, I don't do happy.
That too.
Listen. I'm a Cancer. I can't help it. Okay, I get very emotional.
I'm an asparagus, so you can't criticize me for what I'm doing.
Listen,
I'm an autistic Taurus. I don't know how that plays into it.
No, there's a meme that I saw on Facebook. Yes, I get on Facebook. And it's like a picture of a girl in a pink car running somebody over in the car to crosswalk, and she's like, "But I'm an asparagus. I can't help it. This is just who I am."
My God. Okay. Can I put in a petition now for the episode title to be "But I'm an Autistic Taurus"?
Yes.
Because I think that works. Anyway.
I'm just a cranky Capricorn. That's all I am.
There you go.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Okay, step 5. The creepiest of all. Simulated sexual lifestyle.
Oh my God.
Protect the children by putting them in sexual situations against their will.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
All of them are minors. Like,
yes.
They're under 18 kids. And they're basically being put in like Adam and Eve cosplay costume, I guess.
It's just
cosplay with her son.
With this, it's so wild. It's so like, what? Do the parents know that this is happening? I'm assuming they do because they have to sign like waivers and whatnot. But like,
Probably. They probably do.
what?
But there's a guy, there is a fundamentalist Christian who, so I follow this YouTube channel who's like, he's a science channel and he sometimes watches creationist videos. And like, there's this creationist anti-gay, anti-abortion creationist video. And the guy who wrote and starred in it apparently, like posted on Instagram, she finally turned 18, we're engaged now. And he's like in his late 20s. And like, so these people are legit like that. They will literally groom minors and then talk about how gays are groomers.
Yep.
I mean, most of the criticisms that the conservative have against the queer communities are basically stuff they're talking about themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
They're telling them themselves.
They are. They are. Like, and just in more and more obvious and grosser ways. They're getting worse. It's getting so much worse.
They're homophobic because they're evil and ignorant. I'm homophobic because men suck.
There you go. There we have it.
Honestly, I don't think it's ignorance.
Oh,
they're not ignorant. I'm not gonna give them an excuse.
Yeah.
They want to hurt someone.
No, I mean deliberate ignorance.
It's I was reading I think it was a transcript of a podcast, and it was about, you know, all their main taking point is that they want to protect the children. Even if we know it's bullshit, but it's basically what they're using to convince people to trust them and whatever.
Right.
And it's like, it's so fucking stupid because all of the study you have, for example, on child sexual abuse, proves that it's usually someone that is closed, and that one of the best way to actually protect those kids is to teach them about their body and what belongs to them and what other people are not allowed to touch and what sex is, basically. And there's this idea within the conservative community that gays are gonna groom kids and like we should not expose kids to any sexual content and this kind of thing. But like, if a kid doesn't know what belongs to them, how can they know when an adult is doing something they should not?
Yeah, I mean, it's just weaponized ignorance across the board. You see it in sex ed, you see it in English lit, like with book bans. You see it with standardized testing. You know, they teach kids to take a test. They don't teach them to think critically. And so now we see a bunch of, you know, what people call Puritans who are anti-sex, anti-everything because they haven't been exposed to any critical thinking.
Yeah.
This is why we have people on Twitter saying that if you're 24 and dating a 23-year-old, you're a groomer.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah.
I mean, regarding protecting the kids and this kind of thing, it's always going to be more comfortable to say, oh, all of the issues our kids have are due to this community, this group of strangers that we need to eradicate, whether to do the uncomfortable thing and look into themselves and see what you can do to actually make things better. So, people love being given an enemy.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, it's either the gays, or it's the immigrants, or it's the blacks, or it's the,
It's always someone. There's
it's always someone. There's always an enemy. Yeah.
And this is the thing. I just wanted to go back to, like, you know, Camille, you said you don't want to give them too much, like, you know what, any kind of grace, really. And I agree, because they're aware of what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
They know what they're doing. They're not just like, it's not for the vast majority of like conservatives. I'm specifically thinking of like religious conservatives as specifically. They're not just like so blinded by their devotion to Christ and so blinded by the Bible that they're just following along and they don't really know what they're doing. They're fully aware of what they're doing. They know that it's cruel. They don't care because their concept of God is, this is what it's supposed to be. This is what it means to be a Christian. You are supposed to suffer. That is their whole thing. That's their whole vibe. If you're not suffering, you're doing something wrong.
And also, suffering for who?
Yeah.
Because there's also a bunch of people that can very much compartmentalize thing and be like, yeah, but this group of people, they're just not like me and they don't deserve the same humanity than I have. They don't. Maybe they think we don't feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's.
You see it with Zionists too.
Yeah, exactly.
You see it all the time. Yeah.
It's like, I guess, like when you don't want to acknowledge the horrors and you are, I wouldn't say giving, but that you are inflicting on a group of people, the best way to ignore that is to take their humanity off the equation.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, when I said ignorance, I more meant like weaponized ignorance, like
No, I know.
leaders and church leaders and politicians, like using the ignorance of their constituents and their congregations,
Yes,
to fuel their own agendas.
100%. Do we want to like final thoughts? Anything?
It's a fantastic movie. I love it.
Yeah,
it's everything that camp should like. If you don't know what camp is,
This is the definition of camp.
yes,
this movie is the definition of camp.
100%.
So watch this movie, and you will have a PhD in camp.
The little chuckle.
Kat knows what I was talking about.
I do.
I did not, but that's fine. I never get half of the jokes.
He's like, I'm okay with not knowing.
I'm fine.
Sometimes we explain it to them, and they're like, you know what? I wish.
No, I'm fine
I
with
was
that.
good. I was okay before.
PhD stands for more than just philosophy, doctorate.
I don't want to know. I still don't want to know. I still don't want to know. Anyway, my root is obvious. Is I was born in France.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
What's your root?
Oh yes.
What's your root, Kat?
What's my root? Okay, let's see. What's my root? Let me. I'm just gonna. My mother got married in pants, I think, is my root. That's my root. No. Her dad was unemployed and her mom the money bringer. That's my roots. That's mine.
But yeah, of course. You got confused about gender roles in the house. Exactly. That's how it starts, obviously.
That's how it starts.
That's how it starts.
Yeah.
My root is when I was a kid, McDonald's was doing a toy promotion. It was race cars for boys and Polly Pockets for girls. And I wanted the Polly Pocket because it was closer to Mighty Max, which is the boy Polly Pocket. Same thing, but different painting.
Yeah.
And my mom allowed me to get the girl's toy instead, and that was my root.
There you go.
Excellent route. Well done.
The gateway. Yes.
You have completed your step 3.
Excellent. Well done.
Okay.
Well done, Matt.
On this, thank you for listening to this episode of The Queers of Time. If you want to find us, we are on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Blue Sky, and especially on Discord. Join us on Discord. We always love seeing new people there. And if you want to support us, we have a Patreon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you all for listening. This was Queers of Time, a Wheel of Time podcast. The music is Dance of the Witches by Julius H.